Michigan FFA, I'm here to introduce your fun-loving, quick-witted, enthusiastic, intelligent, but sometimes bullheaded State Secretary Raegan Gembarski. They say to get to know someone, you need to spend time with them. Well, I'm here to tell you that your State Secretary and myself have spent a lot of time together and have shared in countless experiences. From traveling to Iowa to the World Food Prize to flying to Uganda for 2 weeks, we've gotten to know each other pretty well. Many of these experiences were firsts for both of us. As a newer teacher myself, Raegan and I shared many firsts for our program, and I wanted to share some of those with you. Raegan was on North Huron's first state-winning leadership development team and was also a member of our first ever state-winning career development team. She was in the first group of students to travel to Michigan to Iowa for the World Food Prize Global Youth Institute. Raegan was one of the first 3 students to travel with our program internationally for the first time to Uganda, and will be with our second group as we travel to Costa Rica this spring. She was in the first group of students to apply for a proficiency award and received a state-winning award just last year. Raegan was our first student to apply for a state officer position and not receive it. However, she was also the first student to take courage to reapply and received a position this year. And I'm so glad she did. Even with all of these firsts, she still appreciates where she came from, a small rural school at the tip of the thumb. And I appreciate everything that she has done to grow and develop the North Huron FFA and the State Association this past year. I'm so fortunate I got to know Raegan so well. And she wouldn't be here if it wasn't for other mentors, especially Becca Gulliver. So thank you, Becca. And also, thank you, Jake Bushy. Raegan is more than a former student to me, and more than a former officer or state officer. She's a true friend. She has truly accomplished a lot, but if you ask her what her most impactful accomplishment is, she'd tell you that it's serving the members of our organization. I'm so glad that you got to experience her love for the organization this year. I'm so happy to introduce you to my friend, your 2018-2019 Michigan FFA State Secretary, Raegan Gembarski.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna Zakora. I've thought at least 1,000 different ways that I could begin this, but I've settled with just one. I read somewhere that leadership is not about the title or designation. It's about the inspiration, influence, and the impact that you have left on others. The first time that I'd hung out with Abby was when we got paired up to present in front of children for Agricultural Literacy Day due to our shared passion when it came to horses. Despite the fact that I could not remember the script very well, that I could not get the script down very well, she reassured me that I was doing great and continued to help me along the way. From then on, we grew closer, and she was one of the main reasons that I competed in various different contests, went out of my way to make new friends, and never gave up on what I wanted despite defeat. Your next speaker is one of the people that has had the biggest impact on my life in and out of FFA. She has inspired me the most and has had the greatest opportunity to serve as your Region 1 State Vice President. I'm so honored to have watched alongside every one of you the sensational leader that my best friend has grown into over the past year. Please help me in welcoming Abby Puskala.
You stumble through your days, got your head hung low, your sky's a shade of gray, like a zombie in a maze. You're asleep inside, but you can shake awake, 'cause you're just a dead man walking, thinking that's your only option. But you can flip the switch and brighten up your darkest day. Sun is up and the color's blinding, take a world and redefine it, leave behind your narrow mind.
We all have passions. That one thing that lights us up inside that we can't stop thinking about. This passion can range from agriculture, sports, art, movies, to as specific as mastering every Vine reference ever. But what does it really mean to be passionate?
For some, being passionate may mean pursuing what you love, regardless of what's going on around you. For others, it may mean simply choosing to live and love. Either way, the most important part of living a life that you are passionate about is that you actively choose to push past what is not in your control and live the life that makes you happy.
You know that feeling we got when we were little kids and adults would ask us the question, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" We would feel such a rush of joy because it was an open door to go on and on about the thing that we loved most. Usually, our answer was something like a rock star or a firefighter, but if you were anything like me, it had something to do with horses. Our answers would even vary depending on the kind of moods we were in that day. But eventually, we grew up, and we found that making a decision about what we wanted to do might not be quite as simple or as joyful as what we had expected.
I'm sleeping. It's early, the morning sunlight is creeping into my room, and I can already feel the African heat that's waiting for me outside. As I prepare myself to actually wake up, I hear it, the distinct sound of shuffling papers. Someone is in my room. My muscles tense and I'm unable to move. Seconds feel like hours and the sound keeps getting louder. This person is going through my suitcase 4 feet away from my bed. After a long internal debate, I finally gathered the courage to confront my assailant just to see this. Patience. Her motive? The s'mores Pop-Tart in my food suitcase because I was taking too long to bring one to her. My bad. Now, let's rewind and answer a couple questions. Why am I in Africa? Who is Patience? And why is she a Pop-Tart addict? Luckily, the answer to these questions are pretty simple. 1, I'm in Uganda, Africa, with 4 other FFA members, Liz, Faith, Paris, and Ashley, and my advisor, Mr. Ankley. Our mission? Help struggling farmers, educate about sustainability, and to get the chance to see the world. 2, Patience is the 4-year-old girl that lives in the compound that you're staying in. And 3, she's a Pop-Tart addict because Pop-Tarts are the most delicious food known to man, and we split one every morning for breakfast.
When we're little kids, it's okay to not know what we want to be when we grow up, just as much as it's okay to have dreams that reach far past the abilities we have at that young age. Before my junior year of high school, I constantly went back and forth about where I wanted to go in life. I was pretty consistently drawn in the direction of a career in the equine industry. Let's be honest. What little horse girl doesn't dream about a job where they get to wake up and play with their favorite animal all day? But even my dream of working with horses every day could never really quite satisfy the need I had for some kind of direction. I needed something where I could do good, where I could know I was changing lives. Now, in all of those years, a career in education had crossed my mind far more often than what I had realized. It had always been a simple thought. Why not education? Well, the fact of the matter was, I didn't care strongly enough about any subject to dedicate my life to talking about it every day. Math? Heck no. English? Definitely not. History? Forget about it. But when I took my first ag class in high school, the idea of teaching and teaching something that I really cared about became very real. Because I joined FFA for the leadership aspect, my world of possibility and growth got a whole lot bigger. My 5 years in FFA progressed from me being only interested in leadership contests to being completely enthralled in the world of advocacy and service. Falling in love with this organization and our beautiful industry brought me to a potential career, one where the impact I knew I could have was insurmountable.
Once I helped Patience locate our breakfast from my luggage, we headed out into the open area of our compound and found a seat next to the others. My advisor led the discussion on what we were going to be doing for the next few days. We were adventuring 8 hours to the Kadepo National Park, where we would get to live amongst the animals.
I can vividly remember the first conversation I had about teaching. It was with my mom. Now, as a lot of us may know, when it comes to talking to parents about anything, We have to come fully prepared with a game plan in mind. I told her I had decided I was interested in teaching ag. I was going to take any opportunity I could to learn more about the field of education, and I would look at colleges with agri-science education programs. I was going to live the next few months of my life as if this was really the career for me. Turns out, it was.
After the debriefing, we had some time to relax and pack up our belongings for the next few nights. When I was done packing, I headed back out into the common area of our compound to see Patience playing with Faith's pillow pet. Liz and I were both done packing, so Patience immediately came to receive attention. Liz began to chase Patience around with the pillow pet, causing our compound to fill with the sound of her giggling. Take a look. You may not know it, but while watching this video, you saw some pretty beautiful things. Patience is safe, she has clothes on her back, and she is loved. The sun is warm, the sky is bright, Patience is giggling, and all is well. What you didn't see, however, were some not so beautiful things. Patience is safe now, but the area where she lives is prone to war-related violence, so safety is never truly guaranteed. She does have clothes on her back, but what she does have is rarely washed and is one of only 5 outfits that she owns. While lucky enough to have a mother that loves her, Patience will never get the chance to meet her father or brothers, as they are stuck working thousands of miles away to provide Patience with the quality of life that she does have. The sun is warm and the sky is bright, but it is the same sun that reveals pastures that haven't seen rain in over 5 months. The lack of rain causing over 90% of the country's cattle to die. In turn, leaving the people in Patience's village hungry and struggling. Despite all of this, Patience has an unwavering passion for life.
In the months following my decision, my mind never wavered once. This career really was just waiting for me to find it. And once I did, things fell right into place. I learned more about the field of education, received scholarships, and for the first time in my life, I had at least an idea of where I'd like to go to college. I was actually excited about my future, and I was prepared to let literally nothing get in the way of my goal. Now, I was very fortunate to be a part of the FFA community, where folks were very supportive of my decision. Those on the outside, though, were not always as excited as I was for it. A teacher? You want to be a teacher? You know how much money they make, right? Or, good luck with that, you're going to need it, were words that resonated around my mind. These comments even came from teachers themselves. I was proud of myself for finally making a decision, let alone a well-thought-out one, but I was letting so much of what others said get in the way of what I knew was going to make me happy. I started to question if this was my passion, if it was my actual purpose. I was entirely engulfed in the opinions of others. It made me forget the complete and utter joy I felt when my plans first fell into place.
Through poverty and uncertainty, Patience is still passionate. If I was in Patience's position, I don't know if I could choose to love life like she does and look past everything that's going on around me. However, when I hear Patience's laughter and see her smile, it's a reminder that she purposefully and intentionally chooses to be happy and live life with this intense passion.
I started to realize what a big mistake I had been making. I was letting the words of a few others get in the way of what I knew I really cared about. I was and am still so lucky to have found my true purpose, which is not something too many people are fortunate enough to say. I started to learn just how important it was for me to do my thing.
Live your life. Do not let people, struggles, or things that are completely outside of your control the way that you view your life. If we can look past our surroundings, we can shift our mindsets and become empowered. We can come alive. There
are limitless ways to put passion into action. By becoming shamelessly devoted to what lights us up, we become powerful beyond measure, and our influence is unmatched.
Whenever I start to notice that I'm letting what's going on around me determine the ways I'm living my life and keeping me from achieving my goals, I remember patience. I remember a girl that, despite life dealing her a rough hand, she can laugh in the face of hardships and still have this burning passion for life. If a little girl in a developing country can laugh like nothing else matters, why can't we? If she can live her life every day with this intense passion, why can't we? I challenge everybody to stop letting what's going on around you determine the way that you live your life, and like patience, purposely and intentionally choose to be happy. If you can do this, you can live a life that you are truly passionate about.
As little kids, we aren't concerned with how others are going to perceive our passions, but eventually we grow up. We start to take our passions far more seriously, and so do those around us. So much so that they don't see the things we want to do anymore as an infinite possibility, but something so distant and unobtainable. It is not always an easy task, but we have to look at the things we love the way we want to look at them, not through the perceptions of others.
Come alive. You are special. Your passions matter. Fear is no match for what is in store for you. Take that step towards the unknown.
Come alive. The influence you have when you allow yourself to enjoy what it is you do is insurmountable.
Come alive. Live with intentional happiness, for without it, there is no passion.
Come alive. Your passion is your power.
Come alive. Be the one to empower others to take action in their own lives.
Come alive. Take pride in how you find happiness. Michigan FFA, come alive!
Abby, you are unapologetically yourself, and you have taught me to try new things, even if they seem scary. And you have a style that can be trademarked as its own. I love you so much. Michigan FFA, my roommate, teammate, and friend, and our Region 1 State Vice President, Abby Puskala.
Raegan, you have the drive and determination that is sought by any successful person. You love with all of your heart and never let anyone fall behind. Thank you for being there for all of us, no matter what. Michigan FFA, our state secretary, Raegan Gembarski.